Attention, you did make it back to the audiobook reading, and we're on chapter 21, Encourage One Another, and I'm going to let you know what that is. So it's an audiobook, nurseann.com audiobook and podcast. What makes it the audiobook? Well, as a nurse of 30 years and still going on the front lines of mental health and emergency, I created this channel, I created this series to help promote advocacy and awareness for struggles that people are going through and mental health awareness. Also, there is adventure and action on this 6-part drama series, and you're going to get to know the characters and see what they're going through. And then what makes it a podcast is after the reading, I'm going to break it apart as it relates to our own life drama and inner thought struggles. We're going to get some biblical prescriptions to help us navigate our life journey. And yes, once again, I don't have a real microphone, so I'm sorry it doesn't look as legit, but will this spatula do? And plus, I have the fake Hollywood studio lights that you love. And if you need me to have the real equipment, you can just send in your donations. I'm just kidding. You don't have to send in your money, but if you want to, you can. Just kidding, moving on. So we're going to jump into the audiobook, and this is the Mental Files. We are in book 1, which is Sheep Among Wolves. You met the young lady who was on the street fending for herself, not knowing where to go, who to trust. And then she met that guy at the bus stop, her so-called boyfriend, and she's trying to figure out all the frightening hallucinations and thoughts in her head, what to do. Thankfully, the nurses, the frontline workers, the caseworkers, the officer have rescued her off the street, and they're trying to help her find a safer and better life. But in chapter 19, it was called Pity Party. Things were starting to crash down. The frontline workers were getting discouraged because of things happening in their life, breakups, and also the people that they're helping are kind of slipping off. They're getting lured back into their old way. Oh no. And then so last time we had chapter 20, which was a rat sneaks in, where that so-called boyfriend is trying to lure the young lady back into the wrong avenue. He's taking her off the unit. So now chapter 21 is Encourage One Another. We're going to jump into that. As I said, I'm a nurse of 30 years and still going. I bring you this series to highlight adventure, action, advocacy, and awareness. So chapter 21, Encourage One Another. Let's see what's going on. Then we'll break it apart. After the caseworker arrived at her friend's house, they went to each other's house because they were both feeling down. The caseworker just had a breakup, and the nurse is feeling all down about some stuff that happened at work. They don't know yet that their patient, Julie, has been taken off the unit. So they're at each other's house trying to encourage one another. We all need encouragers. So after the caseworker arrived at her friend's house, they proceeded to fill each other in on the life letdowns that they were going through. Spatula microphone. Bet you can hear me better. I used to do the podcast behind the book, hiding behind the books. And I might have to go back to that because you all are so scary to read in front of. Just kidding. I'm sorry. Back to the story. So they're at each other's house and they're going to fill each other in on the life letdowns that they were going through. Suddenly, Angela remembered something that had encouraged her last week that she had read. Oh, hey, Lita, I just remembered this verse I read in 2 Corinthians. It talks about how whenever we're going through trials or sadness and heartache, that God loves to comfort us. And after that, he wants us to encourage others. It's like a cycle. After he encourages me, I encourage you, and then I feel better too. Feeling her heavy spirit start to lift, Lita hugged her friend and thanked her for sharing the words. As the caseworker and nurse continued to talk about their mutual passion of helping others and how maybe they really were making a difference, the nurse heard her cell phone ring from the other room. But not wanting to leave her hurting friend, she let the call go to voicemail. Little did she know that it was her emergency nurse room friend trying to call her and tell her the news she had heard about Carlos taking Julie off the psych unit. Lita and Ange continued to talk and enjoy the mutual encouragement. I'll be right back, offered the nurse to her friend. I just need to grab something out of my room. Wondering about the flashing message light on her phone, the nurse pushed play. Hearing a frantic sounding Kylina on the message, she quickly listened. Running into the living room with the phone, she called back the ER nurse and she tried to fill in Lita with the little that she heard. When they called the emergency room, they were told that their nurse friend was in the middle of an emergency, could not come to the phone. "Let's head over there and find out," cried the caseworker. "That poor girl just can't go with Carlos. We need to find out what happened." Driving together in Lita's car, Angela tried to call the psychiatric unit to get the details. Not getting an answer on the phone, the ladies ran into the emergency room and found their friend. Out of breath, Lita asked Kylina, "What happened? What happened?" As the nurse filled in the two ladies about what happened, Lita and Angela went into panic mode. "Ange, we have to go find her now," cried Lita. "Whoa, wait a minute," said the ER nurse. "What are you talking about? I've seen that Carlos dude. He's in and out of here with some of his dealers or some of his girls. He's bad news. I don't think you two need to go into his territory." Filled with a mix of adrenaline and worry, Lita pulled Angela out the door and she called out, "We'll be fine. We'll be fine. It's not like I'm not out on the streets looking for patients during my shifts at Mobile Crisis." "I know, but don't you usually have a police officer with you?" asked the concerned emergency nurse. Lita thought for a moment about calling Leon. Remembering their last conversation, when they broke up, she brushed the thought aside. "Come on, Ange, let's go." "Hey, you two, at least promise to call me as soon as you get there, wherever that is, so I know you're safe," pleaded the worried ER nurse. "Okay, girl," promised the nervous psych nurse as she made her out with her caseworker friend, not really sure what she was getting herself into. That's the end of chapter 21. Chapter 22 is next time. Damsels in danger. Oh no, what happens to everybody? Okay, well, you'll just have to wait. You'll have to wait till next time to find out. I promise I'll update you. Hey, you can also get the series at nurseand.com. There's a link to the Amazon or the other book sites. And it's all 6 books are in one book called The Mental Files First 6 Stories Edition. You'll see that link on my homepage on the website of nurseand.com and also on the store page. You're going to love this action, adventure, awareness, and advocacy. And there's also a couple devotionals, not to mention so many things you can learn about on the tabs. There's inspirational wellness, health tips, healthy eating, and so much more. But now, as I promised, we're going to break this apart as it relates to our own life drama, inner thought struggles. So that was called encouraging one another. We all need encouragement because no matter who we are or where we're at in life, every day probably we all have self-doubt, worries, and get down on ourselves. So we need encouragement from God, from the Word. We need encouragement from others. I just picked today from my other book. It's Word Puzzles Devotional by Nurse Ann. That's me. And this is interesting words linked to everyday life and inner thought struggles, along with relevant biblical prescriptions, so you can get your dose of wisdom and inspiration to help you overcome and thrive, hope and new light for your life journey, medicine for your soul. I am a nurse of 30 years and still going. So this is in an A to Z format. And today's interesting word is from the letter Z. Feel like you're on Sesame Street? The letter Z. The word is zappy. What does that mean? It means energetic and lively, like this podcast for you. Anyway, would you like that, zappy, to describe the way you feel and function? Energetic and lively? Do you want to be zappy? So, the nurse in me will give you a few health reminders first. So lots of water to drink, lots of quality sleep every night, superfoods and healthy eating, dealing with negative emotions and stress, stretching and exercise, sunlight and nature, caring and kindness toward others and yourself. In addition to these practices to work on, God has many suggestions to help us feel revitalized, zappy. A favorite is found in Isaiah 40:31. But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint. So wait on the Lord, rest in him. Allow him to infuse your soul with zappy and fresh life. So I hope you like fresh life. Hope you like that word puzzles devotional today. Zappy. I found this verse today during my reading. It was just encouraging to me. It's from Ephesians 1:18. And this is a prayer for you. Having the eyes of your heart flooded with light so that you can know and understand the hope to which he has called you. So I hope that you have that hope and that your eyes, your soul, your life gets flooded with that life. We're going to go on to my other devotional, which is Energized Health, Body, Mind, and Spirit by Nurse Ann. Once again, me. So this is in the section about the mind. And on a survey of 1 to 10, we did earlier about our eating and drinking habits. We're going to relate that to our daily anxiety and worry on that same scale. So what is your scale daily, usually 1 to 10 for worry and anxiety? I hope it's not 10. Most of us have learned that these discouraging thoughts know how to ruin this great party of life, this zappy life. So working on our thoughts and minds is a great endeavor toward a more purposeful and productive life. We do well to go straight to the mastermind, Jesus, whose thoughts and ways are higher than ours. When we pray and are quiet before him, we will be able to hear what he has to say from his word to our mind, heart, and spirit. And so during our hectic and busy lives, we can be bombarded with thoughts of worry and self-doubt. We're all in this inspiration battle together. So there's more. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but that's at the devotional Energized Health, Body, Mind, and Spirit by Nurse Ann. And you can enjoy this devotional designed to propel your total health for body, mind, and spirit. So let's get started. I hope that you do have that zappy life. And I hope you join us on the next podcast for the next chapter of this exciting audiobook, Mental Health Awareness, Christian Fiction. There is romance, faith, danger, action, suspense, and inspiration. These shifts are 24/7, and you will have to buckle up for this compelling ride. Their frontline workers are battling the forces of darkness, seen and unseen. And once again, at the nurseann.com website, there is a link. I hope to see you for the next audiobook and podcast. And yes, I'll probably still have my fake spatula microphone and my wonderful studio lights. Maybe I'll even get a fake studio audience for some cheers. See you next time.